ribbon embroidery is a technique that can be used alone, or it can be incorporated into your thread painted designs to add different kinds of texture. So in my book, Stumpwork Embroidery and Thread Painting, Stitch 3D Nature Motifs, I have two designs that use silk ribbon embroidery. The first design in my book that uses silk ribbon embroidery is this little rabbit in a summer garden. And as you can tell, we used silk ribbon to create the leaves and the flower petals on these florals. Okay, the second project in my book that uses silk ribbon is this embroidered bird nest. And if you look closely, the nest itself is stitched with a variety of different fibers, but the inner part where the eggs are, those are stitched with a really light pale blue silk ribbon. So let's talk about the different kinds of silk ribbon. Silk ribbons come in a lot of different sizes. I'm showing you two different sizes here just so you can see what I mean. Okay, so this first one is a bit wider, and this is the 7mm ribbon. Sometimes they come in solid colors. They also can come in a variegated pattern like this, where it's a bunch of different colors blended into one ribbon. This is the 4mm ribbon, and this is the kind that I use in the patterns in my book. It's a bit smaller, and it's great for just smaller leaves and petals. And when working with a smaller design like the rabbit in the nest, you probably want to use a smaller ribbon. So one of the important things about working with silk ribbon is to work with a shorter length than you normally would with other fibers. So for silk ribbons, I usually recommend working with about 8 inches or less. And the reason for that is that silk ribbon is a very delicate fiber, and it can fray if you're working with really long lengths. As they go up and down through the fabric, it's putting wear and tear on those ribbons, and they can fray if you're just stitching with a really long length. So I always recommend stitching with about 8 inches, and using the proper kind of needle for silk ribbon is the other way you can prevent any fraying or damage to your ribbon. So there are two types that you can use. The first is a tapestry needle, and the second is a chenille needle. Now, as you can tell, these are both size 18. They are the same length, and they have the same size eye. The eye is important because you want your ribbon to fit through comfortably without squeezing or it being the eye being too small for the ribbon. So the difference between the tapestry needle on the left and the chenille needle on the right is the point. Chenille needles have a sharper point, and tapestry needles have a bit of a duller point. So for this, I'm gonna demonstrate using the chenille needle. Really, I kind of feel like it's a personal preference on which one you would prefer to use, and depending on the fabric that you're embroidering on. But generally, chenille needle is kind of the preferred needle for silk ribbon. So when I go to thread my ribbon through my needle, I'm going to go ahead and tie one of the ends into a knot. Okay, and then the other end is the one I'm going to thread through the needle. Now this, you would thread it just like any other type of fiber. So again, it just goes through the needle, and you want to make sure that the needle you've chosen, either the chenille or tapestry needle, has an eye that's wide enough to accommodate your ribbon without it bunching up. In this case, it's definitely the right size. Now, this is the part that's different than when you're threading any other kind of fiber. This, you're going to turn your ribbon and I like to place it up against one of my fingers, and oops, it got away. The needle end, you're going to poke it towards the top here, and you're going to pierce through the ribbon just like that. Okay, and it'll create kind of a loop here. Now you're going to take the tail end, and you're going to gently slide that down. You're going to take the tail end, and you're going to gently pull, and what will happen is it will pull it down to the eye here, and it will create a little knot. Okay, and when you're working, this helps keep your ribbon secure so that it's not moving around so much as you're going in and out of the fabric, and it creates less wear and tear on the ribbon. So that is the proper way to thread a silk ribbon. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this tutorial helpful.